Thank you for taking the time to participate in this training module. The goal of this training is to help you know how to safely respond when someone has sustained a fall. We're going to talk about ways to move a patient while keeping both of you safe from injury. The statistics don't lie. Almost half of those living in long-term care are likely to have a fall. Often 911 is called as a response to a patient falling, even if there are no obvious injuries. Many times, a patient who fell just needs help getting back up on their feet. A new Arizona law passed in 2021 seeks to provide higher quality of care to patients by assisting them off the ground. This is a win-win, as caregivers can provide higher quality health care and patients are able to remain in their facility without going to the hospital unnecessarily. We thank you for participating in this training that has a common goal for Arizona to provide higher quality patient care. Assisting someone off the floor may seem scary or daunting without the proper training. However, assisting someone off the ground can become much easier than you imagine with this training and with some practice. We're first going to cover the basic rules of body mechanics, which is how you protect your body when helping someone else. There are very important principles to every type of lifting and moving technique. Keep your back straight. Bend your knees and lift with your legs, widen your base of support. Importantly, assess your surroundings, move furniture if you must, remove items that could spill or fall over, and keep whatever you're lifting as close to your body as possible. Now, although the next few slides tell you the name of the lift being demonstrated, no one's asking you to learn these names. We're just asking you to look at the pictures and understand the principles that are being demonstrated. This deep squat lift is for large items that are on the floor, but that they're narrow enough that your legs can straddle the item. This allows you to get close to the object and making it safer and easier to lift. The power lift looks the same, but this time the item is too large to have your feet either side, so they're behind it, but close to the object. Note the straight back and bent knees to decrease the risk of a back injury. If two people are available, go for it. Use the same principles, but share the load. Make sure one person takes the lead and says go. If the item is not on the floor, maybe in the trunk of your car, keep your legs straight, but not locked, and it's a good way to lift. Note that this person's knees are slightly relaxed, which prevents extra pressure on the knees, which can be painful. It can be tempting if an item is on the floor and small just to bend over and pick it up. This is when back injuries happen. Keep your back straight, release one leg behind you and reach for the item. This is called the golfer's lift because it's how the golfers get the ball out of the hole once they've putted it in. If you're worried about your balance with that one, then kick the item until it's close to a solid surface, such as a kitchen counter or a heavy chair, and lean on the stable surface while you pick up the item, still with a straight back. If you can kneel, then it's a good way to pick up smaller, heavier items. If the item moves around like a bag of rocks or soil, place it on your raised knee to straighten it up before standing. My favorite is this one, the James Bond lift. If something has handles, you can just scoop it up as you walk past without even stopping. But again, keep your back straight. Now we come to the challenges of moving a person. This is harder, but all the principles that we just talked about will apply to you as you move a person. First, if you find someone on the floor, you must do a screening. Can they talk to you? Can they wiggle their toes and fingers? Can they answer your questions appropriately? Are they in pain? Look for any obvious injuries, such as bleeding or exposed bones, but then evaluate. Are they in immediate danger if you leave them where they are? Are they in the road, on a very hot surface, outside in extreme temperatures, or on a wet floor? Remember, they could be in more harm if you do nothing than if you move them. Important things to consider as you prepare to help someone off the floor. Make sure your environment is safe. Move furniture so that you have room. Remove anything that might spill or be dangerous, such as the pitcher of water or a lit candle. If there are two people, work together. Work out what you're going to do. Explain it to the person on the floor. Take your time. Put non-slip socks or shoes on the person on the floor. And if you have a gait belt, use it. If it feels awkward and it's not working, then stop and try again. Once your client is off the floor and in a chair, then take their vital signs and respond accordingly. Call 911 if their vital signs are off or if they become incoherent or in pain. Within 24 hours, the client should see their primary care physician for a full evaluation. Remember, some injuries are not obvious. If you have a cooperative client able to talk to you, then work together. Put a chair or bed next to them and you stand behind them. They bend up their knees and cross their arms over their chest. Then you put your arms under their shoulder and onto their wrists. Remember, keep your back straight, and if standing, bend your knees. Count to 3 and have them push up through their legs while you support their upper body. Once they're upright, find your balance, find their balance, and turn and sit in the chair. If you're watching this with other people, now is a great time to pause the video and practice this technique on each other. If that option was too challenging for your client, then here is an alternative option. Arrange the chair next to the client and place a towel or a blanket on the floor because they're going to be kneeling on it. Assist them into kneeling, facing the chair, then helping them from behind with your hands on their pelvis, slip them into the chair. The next slide shows this in stages. Here you see it in pictures. The client kneels, the assistant helps them unweight using the chair for additional support, and then turns them to sit down. Again, this is a good time to stop the video and practice. If there are 2 of you and the client can participate, do the same as the version we talked about first, but instead of one person standing behind the client, you each take a side with your arm under their armpit. If the client cannot cooperate, but they need something underneath them to protect them from the heat of the road or water, then to place a blanket underneath them, you do the following. Roll the blanket up lengthways, roll the patient towards you by putting one arm to the side and the other across their chest. Put the blanket rolled up underneath them and then roll them the other way to unroll the blanket. It's all in pictures on the next slide. Here it is in pictures. Roll the client towards you, put the blanket roll underneath them but with some sticking out unrolled. Put them back on the roll and roll them towards you and then unroll the blanket. Even if they appear not to understand, always make sure that you explain to them what you're doing to reassure them. Final thoughts. Always take vital signs and monitor the patient for several hours after you've helped them up. Remember, they may be in more danger if you don't move them than if you do. Always talk to them. Reassure them. They're shaken from the fall. Make sure someone takes control and gives instructions so that everyone's doing the same thing. Don't be afraid to take the lead. Somebody has to. Again, make sure they're seen by a medical professional as soon as possible after their fall. We hope that this has helped you understand how to move things, objects and people while protecting your body from injury. Falls will happen. It's how we respond that's important. Thank you.